I am Stephen Wheeler, Honorable Civil Servants. I speak before you today, though associated with the current ice arena project, I take no position on this initiative. I am here today to ask you simply, prove me wrong. I have been both observer and participant in our City Council meetings since 2008. However presumptuous, I am convinced I know a done deal when I see one, and currently expect this project already meets that definition. This shows literally in your faces, your public comments, and most notably, your proactive scheduling of community awareness so late in the game. It appears to me you understand very well how to work the system. I've seen it before. Mayor, I offer your description of the dozens of residents who in February spoke in opposition to our firearms range lease as relentless. That speaks volumes to your value of community sentiment. Kind of begs the question if you found supporters equally relentless. I suggested it's time to demonstrate the courage of leadership to which I have previously cited to this august body as sorely lacking to this constituent. I am convinced, regardless of any community input, pro, con, or indifferent, there is no doubt in my mind we will have an ice arena in Kit Carson Park. Of this I am convinced. The decision has already been made. It need not be disguised. To close, I offer a few points. Prove me wrong, please. I address this body in my salutation as honorable civil servants. I only ask that you earn this distinction. Done deals result in done politicians. To all those who may remain in office when a vote occurs, I ask you not lose sight that one of your multiple choice answers will always be, Rink's Foundation, thanks for this exciting opportunity, but we have found no suitable facility site in our city. So, please, please, prove me wrong with respect.
All right. Carrying on, Ruth Weber, followed by John Weber. There you go. Oh, I already gave it to him.
Oh, okay,
Yep.
great. My name is Ruth Weber, and I'm here today representing the Escondido Parks Foundation to officially contest the architectural plan presented by the Rinks Foundation for the proposed facility at Kit Carson Park. On June 17, 1970, the City Council of Escondido officially passed a specific plan for the Kit Carson Park, which includes guidelines necessary to preserve and enhance the atmosphere of the park. The direction and design of the park was to closely follow the architecture at the time of the Mexican-American War and reflect the Kit Carson name. This was to apply to all new construction in the park. Some of the specifics on the list include low roof lines that create verandas, adobe brick look, red clay color roof tiles, wrought iron, single or maximum 2-story construction, signs that reflect the historical significance of the park in their style and manner of construction. The landscape is to have trees and shrubs indigenous to Escondido placed in groups that block undesirable buildings and parking areas with planted mounds like the one separating the softball fields from the mall parking lot. All existing trees are to be preserved whenever possible. This does not describe AstroTurf. Picnic tables, benches, trash containers are to be made of heavy timber or rock, not metal tables with umbrellas. The staff report that accompanied the plan illustrated the intent of the park, and I quote, "The purpose of the citywide park as set forth by the Citizens Advisory Committee for the general plan is to afford contact with nature, offer a variety of recreational activities not found in the neighborhood and community facilities, to provide a natural recreation area designed for people, a meeting ground for man and nature, a breathing space for all that is wild and free in spirit, sound, smells, and awareness of the warm earth and cool grass between bare toes can be rediscovered in a variety of settings, preserved and accented in a large recreational park. I think this description of intent says it all. Not only does the Rink's architectural plan not meet the park specifications, the whole intent of the park does not line up with the inclusion of a 14-acre commercial ice rink disguised as a nonprofit. We hereby officially contest the architectural plan and your decision to move forward with further consideration of the MOU. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, Mayor and City Council members. My name is John Weber, and I'm a 15-year resident of Escondido. In September 2025, the Escondido Sports Center skate park in Kit Carson Park was closed. Built in 1997, the foundational substructure had exceeded its lifespan and was, quote, beyond repair, unquote. The lifetime of the skate park was 28 years and had to be demolished. The Escondido Isoplex ice skating rink closed down after 25 years when they could no longer afford to maintain the property and its lifespan had expired. We now know that ice rink facilities have a lifespan. Excuse me. The City of Escondido's proposed lease with the Ice Rinks Foundation Ice Park is for 25 years with an option for 25 more. However, if they choose not to renew their lease at the end of 25 years, Escondido taxpayers will be left to foot the bill for refurbishing or demolishing the complex. Excuse me. And we would never get back the endangered animals or habitat that was destroyed. Furthermore, the 4 adult softball fields they plan to move to Ryan Park were originally located here where City Hall is now located. According to Mr. Don Anderson, Director of Parks and Recreation at the time, the City Council promised never again to move the softball fields in perpetuity. One of the Rinks Foundation selling points is that it will bring approximately 100 new jobs to Escondido. We'll let it be known that on May 28, 2026, a class action lawsuit was filed against the Rinks Foundation in Los Angeles Superior Court, case number 26 STCV 17017, wherein the plaintiffs alleged that the Rinks Foundation, quote, failed to properly pay them all wages owed for all time worked, including minimum wage, straight time wages, and overtime wages, failed to provide them with all meal periods and rest periods and associated premium wages to which they were entitled, failed to timely pay them all wages due during their employment, failed to timely pay them all wages due upon termination of their employment, failed to provide them with accurate itemized wage statements, failed to maintain accurate payroll records, and failed to reimburse them for necessary business expenses, unquote. Are these truly the people the citizens of Escondido should be in bed with? I think not. Thank you.
Our final speaker for oral communications for this portion. The remaining balance will be at the end of the meeting.
Good evening. There are 2 sensible paths to work to solve our climate crisis. One is to stop burning fossil fuels. The second is to enhance nature. Why are you leading Escondido on a rampage to destroy nature in pursuit of money? Escondido has almost 23,000 acres in the city. 60% plus or minus are built development, 40% plus or minus are paved impervious land. 4 to 5% are for parks. Kit Carson Park is 1.2% of the total area, and only 0.8% of that is reserved land. The park is 285 acres, 100 of those developed and 185 preserved. You know, back in 1986, after already decimating the park, 77 acres were leased to North County Fair, which opened in 1986. You know, you want to continue on this tragic path? Are you considering leasing 14 more acres that will pave over more natural ground? This could result in harmful carbon emissions during construction and ongoing emissions from the energy needed to operate the business, as well as the many cars visiting the site. This is madness. Please protect nature. eBird recognizes Kit Carson Park as a birding hotspot. We have observed more than 200 species of birds. This is adjacent in part to these softball fields. Why do you not want to protect our birds as well as our plants? Reportedly, the EIR contract was sole source to a company suggested by the developer. We just heard of how good they are. We don't need the fox guarding the hen house. Fairness and probably law demand that an open bidding process occurs. Do you want to approve a project using corrupt processes? You're inviting a lawsuit. Note that a prior rink is already closed here in Escondido. Does that mean it's a good business for us? And there's already a rink in Poway besides. Proceeding could make sense by removing some of the 35 or 45% to 45% of paved land and repurposing it in North County. 45% paved already. North County Fair is surely an option. Current leases are almost surely renegotiable, or find a path someplace else. Bottom line, protect nature, protect the peace of mind and health of Escondido's wildlife and residents.
Your time has expired. Thank you so much.
This is regarding the ice rink. This project, however well-intentioned, however well-designed, does not belong at this site. Our group will continue to come until you recognize this fact and move on to other projects or another site. As a city council, one of your roles is to encourage business to build in Escondido. We recognize that. And from that perspective, the Gulls Ice Project is perfect for Escondido. It will bring revenue to the city. I honestly wish you would have put this much effort into saving the Iceplex, actually. However, you also have a role to the community of providing a wonderful city to live in. You need to separate out your role in growing business in Escondido from maintaining, as well as you can, the character of the community that Escondidos live in. You already have Kit Carson Park, and all you have to do is maintain its character. This project will not help with that. I've talked to many people who fondly reminisce their experiences in the past years with kids and grandkids in Kit Carson Park. And they all involve outdoor activities. Even as I pass by the many family picnics, I'm amazed at the number of different languages being spoken. And I realize that probably nowhere else in Escondido can you be in a common area where you can see a composite of the Escondido population. Nowhere else in Escondido will you see that. Actually, if you only take one walk in Kit Carson Park, you'd be able to take in this one walk, sights and sounds of disc golfers, picnickers, ball players, and generally a population enjoying the outdoors. The minute you start chipping away at the natural outdoor areas of Kit Carson Park, you will never again have this natural land. Kit Carson Park is a natural resource for outdoor activities, and you truly need to value it and preserve it as such. The more you chip away at these resources, the shared outdoor activities are going to dwindle.
That's great.
The more you
Thank you, Ms.
try
Carpenter. Your
to
time
chip
has
away at
expired.
the land here with all
And Ms. Carpenter, your time has expired.
Okay, good evening, Mayor and council members, city clerk, attorney, and manager. My name is Barbara Aguilar. I'm a next door neighbor to a resident to Kit Carson Park, as well as a business owner here, parent, and avid volunteer in this community. I'm here to tell you to reconsider the location proposed Gulls Ice Rink. This is not about the actual sport of hockey, but about the location. This is about one of our most valued public parks, and whether this public has been afforded transparent process to evaluate this proposal. KCP belongs to us, the people of Escondido. First and most important is safety. The traffic is set to shift into my corridor, which is South Center City Parkway. That does not solve any traffic problems. It would actually make the already unsafe corridor even more unsafe. I know this way too well, as recently my car was totaled and my daughter injured on Center City, that very corridor. The city should already have shown competence and address these safety concerns in this corridor before approving any regional destination or any MOU or anything, because this will clearly impact it for the worst. Second is pollution. My neighbors and I will experience increased traffic noise and light pollution beyond the park's traditional hours, emissions from condensation that will travel right to my home. We are a rural community, and these things impact well beyond city boundaries. The last thing I see at night are the softball lights. I don't want to see a monstrosity when I lay my head down to sleep. Third are the added environmental impacts of more heat generation and loss of open space for the land and wildlife to breathe and thrive. Paving natural landscape with buildings, coolers, and concrete increases the heat island effect. As a landowner trying to grow food and educate the community about permaculture, I do not believe we should be adding to the contributing problem. Permaculture is about helping to heal and live with our earth. This would be the exact opposite. We should be building responsibly and not allow for any type of gateway that will create a precedent for future land and or water grabs, which is happening all over the United States right now. It is not responsible to concrete unsuitable parkland for this venture when this land is wildlife habitat and a passage for migrating birds. Parks like these keep people grounded and communities connected and active. These communities deserve the same consideration as any proposed development. Last but not least, this public trust has been eroded due to the fast track of this proposal and the lack of transparency. Projects of this magnitude deserve community's participation and thus their confidence that the process was done and conducted in their best interest. I implore you to slow down this process, provide greater transparency, and consider a more suitable location for a regional sports complex.
Thank you, Ms. Aguilar.
Good evening, Mayor White, council members, and city staff. My name is Tracy Henschbarger, and I'm an Escondido resident and a lifelong birder, which you can probably tell by looking at me. I am one of 96 million Americans, or 37% of the population over 16 who participates in the sport and science of bird watching. The percentage is likely even higher in San Diego County. More than 1,000 bird species have been documented in the United States. Remarkably, 522 of those 1,000 have been found right here in San Diego, more than any other county in the nation. Of those 206 species of those 522 have been documented in Kit Carson Park. Our extraordinary bird diversity is due not only to our climate, but also to our location along the Pacific Flyway, one of the world's great migration routes. Every year, millions of birds travel between Alaska and South America, relying on freshwater habitats to rest, feed, and breed. Unfortunately, those habitats are becoming increasingly scarce. Kit Carson Park provides one of those essential habitats via Eagle Scout Lake, Tree Lake, and the surrounding riparian corridor. Together, these features support the over 200 bird species found in the park, including the endangered least Bell's vireo and the threatened coastal California gnatcatcher, both of which nest in the park and are protected under federal and California law. Bald eagles and golden eagles also visit the park and receive federal protection. For the past 41 years, Kit Carson Park has hosted the National Audubon Society's annual Christmas bird count. Today, birders also contribute observations through the eBird Citizen Science app, and there's nearly 2,400, that's 2,400 bird checklists that have been submitted from within Kit Carson Park. It's a remarkable record of the park's ecological importance. San Diego is home to numerous birding and environmental organizations that closely follow projects affecting sensitive habitat. A complete, transparent, and independent environmental review is essential so the public and organizations with scientific expertise can fully evaluate the impacts before any irreversible decisions are made. Once this habitat is disturbed, it cannot simply be recreated somewhere else. The decision you make here will affect this ecosystem for generations. Ice hockey is in my family's blood. Members of my family have played, coached, and refereed the sport for decades and are avid spectators. However, ice rinks are noisy, brightly lit, and active well into the evening. Those characteristics are fundamentally incompatible with the quiet natural habitat that makes Kit Carson Park
Thank
so
you, Tracy.
valuable
Your
to
time has
wildlife.
expired.
Thank you so much.
Good evening, Mayor White, council members, and city staff. My name is Melissa Petrie. I live adjacent to Kit Carson Park, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you. I want to leave you with one simple thought tonight. You are not elected to represent developers. You are not elected to represent private organizations. You are elected to represent the people of Escondido. Over the past several months, your constituents have shown up. They've attended meetings, submitted comments, completed surveys, written letters, spoken from this podium, and volunteered thousands of hours because they care deeply about the future of Kit Carson Park. And this message has been remarkably consistent. Residents support bringing ice sports to Escondido. Residents support recreation. Residents support economic development. But they overwhelmingly believe Kit Carson Park is the wrong location for this project. At the city's own public information meetings, 209 public comments were submitted. Of those, 160 people, more than 76%, supported protecting Kit Carson Park or said this project belongs somewhere else. Only 20 people, less than 10%, supported placing the ice complex in the park. That's an 8-to-1 difference. Even more telling, many of the comments weren't opposed to the project itself. They simply said, good project, wrong location. Those are not anti-development voices. They are residents asking you to pursue the project without sacrificing one of Escondido's most treasured public parks. The city's own online engagement platform tells a similar story. Nearly 71% of comments oppose this location, while fewer than 25% supported it. Almost a 3-to-1 difference. These aren't our numbers, they're yours. No public comments are not an election, but they are the only official opportunity residents have been given to participate in this process. When you ask for public input, you have an obligation to listen, even when the answers aren't what you hoped to hear. In just a few months, the voters of Escondido will once again decide who represents them. Before then, you have an opportunity to demonstrate that public participation still matters. Listen to your constituents, complete the environmental review, conduct the traffic studies during the school year, evaluate alternative locations, then make your decision on a potential land lease. That's what a representative government looks like. Thank you.
Wow.
And I hope, Council, I'm glad to be here and glad to see all of you, and I hope you will indulge me a little personal reflection on Kit Carson Park. I'm 94 years old. I've been in Kit Carson Park for eons, obviously, with that kind of a number. In fact, I have worked in community projects in Escondido for about 65 years, and community to me is what's important. about a town. You can buy land, you can buy buildings, but you cannot buy community. It's a very subjective thing. So early on at Kit Carson, my family and I planted trees at the north end. I believe it was Kiwanis or maybe Rotary. I'm not sure which club organized all of us, but we planted all those trees at the north end of the park. And of course now, there's a terrific facility there. It's free. It's all free. All the disc golf is just free. And that's what I want to point out, is that any council has to hope for the loyalty of its citizens. And you get that by giving them something that is totally subjective. Maybe doesn't make a bit of sense on paper, but that's where you get your loyalty to a community. What I like about the park, and I've been there, as I said, walking for eons, is that everything is free. So if I want to watch a baseball game, I go. If I want to watch softball, I go. If I want to just walk and talk to my friends, that's just fine. Nobody's telling me what I have to do. If I want to watch disc golf, I have grandchildren that play disc golf, free, once again. The amphitheater, over the years, as you can imagine how many things I've seen at the amphitheater, including graduations and musical performances and plays. We used to do Felicita there, but it was always a place that we could all gather for whatever was being presented, and there was no charge. So that was wonderful. I love the playgrounds. The new playgrounds that have been put in out there. They involve the parents with the kids on the playground, which is a really nice thing. You don't just turn the kids into a playground and leave them. The parents can participate there. Whoever designed those playgrounds did a super job, and I see they use them a lot. Let's see what else I have. Oh, and then, the socializing. I've met so many people there. And that's one of the reasons that we go and walk. We want to be around other people who are like-minded, who want to be healthy, and I just have huge lists.
Your time is expired.
Okay, well that's it. But I feel like we've got to preserve that kind of thing. It's not about money. It really isn't about money. And this project appears to be mostly about money. Thank you very much.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, and staff. My name is Martha Tucker. I've lived in Escondido nearly 50 years, and I sure love Kit Carson Park. I walk there almost every day. I've led my Seroptimus Club on walks there, and they don't live in Escondido, and they are just amazed at what we have. A real natural gem. I was disappointed. I attended the meeting at the Valley Parkway Community Center telling us about the proposed ice rink. And it didn't feel like they wanted any of my input or questions. It felt like a marketing campaign. I felt like they were going to sell me a timeshare or something. It didn't feel like a discussion of what do we want as residents of Escondido. We need to preserve this natural space. Putting a commercial facility at one end of the park, don't think it won't affect the whole park. It certainly will. It's a whole culture, a personality, a place, a gathering for everyone. Not an indoor, well-lit facility with a huge parking lot. For all the reasons you've heard before, and a plea for the future, for the next 50 years and our city's entanglements. Please preserve the intention that was put forth 50 years ago for the park to maintain as a natural space, not a commercial space. And I really would ask the council to continue to seek input from the community and let the community have a say, and please be more transparent. This is felt like a done deal. I don't know if that's true, but that's how it's come across. So I certainly hope we can have more discussion on this. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Bonnie Wagner. I'm a secondary teacher, and I am thrilled that the City Council is taking an interest in providing air-conditioned areas where our teenagers can hang out in a safe space. I think it's an important part of growing up, to have a place that's not where your parents can see you, that you can meet your friends, and become the adult you're growing into as an adolescent. And as another speaker noted, it is getting a little too hot to hang out at the skate park all summer. That said, putting a large industrial facility like an ice rink at Kit Carson Park seems odd, tone deaf, confusing. I was one of many, many residents who absolutely loved using the ice rink on a regular basis before it closed. And we would have loved if the city had taken action to help that ice rink stay open, rather than letting it fall into disuse and disrepair over several years. That said, I want to reframe the decision-making process here. I've been reading the very interesting information that has gotten bigger on the website, and I appreciate that somebody is trying to put more information out for us residents to read. But it seems like the answer to why didn't you consider this other space, the mall, the old Iceplex, they all have to do with it's too complicated. Well, the city doesn't own that. Is it the city's responsibility to provide an Iceplex? It seems to me that there's this rather wealthy organization who wants to do this Iceplex, this ice rink complex with 3 ice rinks. I don't know why 3 is so important to them, why the 2 doesn't work. I'm sure that they have an answer for that, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's best for Escondido. We have industrial spaces that would love to be revitalized. That would be lovely. It's not clear to me why they can't buy the old Iceplex and the property next to it and build the complex they want right next to the freeway, where there's already power and water, and where it won't interrupt the open spaces that we treasure and are supposed to be set aside. I understand there's complexities at the mall and at other industrial spaces, but that seems to be their problem and not necessarily our problem or your problem.
Really?
And I have questions about our process here. I was reading recently about how things like this are happening all over the country relating to data centers, that city councils all over the country are being asked or forced to sign non-disclosure agreements with for-profit companies or other groups that have business before those city councils. And that seems like a major ethical problem to me.
Really?
You are representatives of us, your local taxpayers. You are not representatives of those companies. You're hopefully not employees of those companies, because that would be a conflict of interest.
Thank you, Bonnie. Your time has expired.
Thank you.
Good evening. Good evening, Mayor, City Council. My name is Stuart Race. I'm here to ask you to consider bringing the benches back to downtown Escondido. The benches were removed and have never been replaced. The benches make downtown more welcoming for seniors, families, shoppers, and visitors. This provides a place to rest, encourages people to spend more time downtown, and softens the look of our city. I respectfully ask the City Council to consider restoring the benches to help make our downtown even more inviting. Thank you, and I hope that you guys can get this remedied. And I don't believe that we should put an Iceplex there, or a skate place. I still have time. I usually have time. So I think that there's way too much that you guys have to consider to be able to get that project down the road. Sewage, power, and a little bit of and water. So I'm sure there are other places that have all of those things. And Isoplex has a power plant there that you guys can sell them on refurbishing and providing the power for that, which would help. But I hope you guys reconsider that place and look at other places. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Eleni Tignor. Eleni Tignor. Robin Weinstra.
Mayor White and all the council members, thank you for hearing me. I'm Robin Weinstock. I'm a longtime resident of Escondido, and I want to state my opposition to the skate park in Kit Carson Park. I use the park daily. I'm there every day, and I meet people. I enjoy it. It's beautiful. Weekends is, all the softball fields. It's a jewel in the city of Escondido with its trails, wildlife, community picnics, and ballparks. How wholesome is that? It could be a poster for why families should move to Escondido. I feel the Rink process has been rushed. I just found out about it like a few weeks ago. Studies are not adequately completed and communicated to the public. Kit Carson is the people's park. Please keep it so. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, City Manager, and City Clerk. I say good job to you because I know you guys have all working hard on many things that our community is concerned about. So my name is Teddy Jackson. I represent Protect Rural Escondido. I started it about a year ago after we found out about the development that was planned for our neighborhood, rural neighborhood. I want to also mention that I have a great website, but I've just revamped it, so it's out right now, but tomorrow it's coming, launching, and I'm really excited about that. So if you go right now, it's not working, but it is coming, and it'll be even better than ever. So tonight I want to talk about my heart for hundreds of neighbors that feel like they're watching the community they chose to live in be dismissed and slowly erased by the city of Escondido. We have collected over 500 petitions and hundreds of members have joined our grassroots movement, which I'm really encouraged by because it's not NIMBY, it's about MIMBY, right? Maybe in our backyard if there's things that are accommodated. So people don't move to the county unincorporated Escondido by accident. They choose it because it's unique. They choose larger lots, the ability to have horses and large animals, gardens, mature trees, wildlife, dark skies, and the peace that comes with living in a rural community. We don't have sidewalks. Our roads were never designed for urban levels of traffic, and we have numerous accidents and deaths that have occurred on that stretch of rural 78 between Oak Hill and Idaho Avenue. It's a rural residential community whose very character depends on space, quiet, and provides a transitional buffer from the commercial urban core of the city. The Aldea Escondido project proposes an 18 times increase in urban density immediately across from the historically and culturally significant neighborhoods of Park Hill, Birch Avenue, Idaho Avenue, permanently changing the community character of the surrounding unincorporated rural community. Once that line is crossed, it will not stop with this project. In fact, that same developer owns 10 acres on Summit, and I guarantee you that's his strategy. Once that line, residents of Escondido, especially the residents of this neighborhood, everyone that we've talked to, and Escondido Christian School and Church, the K through 12 church that's been in Escondido for 100 years. We're all deeply concerned about the commercial uses that are being considered in that density increase and that rezoning. What does that mean? Will that be a convenience store? Will that be a liquor store across from the church? Will that open up the corridor to just start?
Thank you, Ms. Jackson.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. It has taken about 3 years of discussions to 7 or 8 closed session meetings, and suddenly you decided that Escondido residents are going to approve building an ice skating rink facility, which would take away a good amount of public land at Kit Carson Park at the expense of us, the taxpayers. This doesn't sound good, especially when the public wasn't aware of these negotiations. According to dictionary.com, and I quote, dishonesty is the act of habit of not being honest, which includes lying, cheating, stealing, or hiding the truth to trick people. And I end quote. You're very dishonest. Councilmember and Mayor, this project has not been transparent. We need to protect public land, parkland. I am concerned about the environmental and financial impact this project might bring to us, the residents of Escondido. Public land belongs to the public, and it should stay that way. The ice skating rink facility at Kit Carson Park is a wrong location. Please find a different location. Thank you.